Welcome to the baseballswing.com. Joe Colucci here with you, talking today about timing and how to hit 100 and how to develop that ability, so to speak. So I'm going to go at it a little different. We're going to talk about mechanics and how to do it as opposed to shortening the swing and direct paths and all that kind of stuff that's out there. There is a way that you can cover velocity, you can create better timing and adjustability for yourself. Um, you know, outside of what I hear taught today. So basically, just celebrated my 60th birthday and had this thought that I wanted to address this. So I jumped into the garage. So pardon the appearance. Didn't feel like running down to the cages, but anyway, so here we are. So how do we mechanically give ourselves an advantage? If 100 gets up on us real quick, how are we still able to hit it? How are we going to be able to dance in rhythm with the pitcher, so to speak, when they're changing speeds, etc.? Well, I think the first solution is mechanical, and kind of here's what I mean by that. We want to get our bat in the zone as early as possible and keep it there as late as possible without contorting ourselves, without creating bad bat angles. A lot of talk today about kind of turning the barrel back towards the catcher, working rearward with the barrel, etc. I don't buy any of that stuff. To an extent, yeah, I guess, but my philosophy is this: get some sort of rhythm load or whatever, and we got a ball position kind of A1 here, right? So not a lot of timing needed, but this is where it begins. Get that bat slotted, and you'll notice here it's pointing back towards the other dugout, right? That's behind you. Behind you is not towards the catcher. If we release and pivot our wrists and throw that bat back towards the catcher, think about what happens to the steepness of your plane coming in. Barrel gets very steep, right? Pitch is coming down at, we talk about this a ton, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees, whatever. We want to kind of swing on that plane in an upwards fashion to give ourselves the best chance to hit it, right? And if we can get the bat in the zone or behind the ball early, we can afford to be a little late on velocity and still be able to, drive something the other way. Anyway, while the bat's slotting, so kind of load the scap here, and there's a little transfer of weight forward. So you see that linear motion as the bat slots and the barrel drops. Kind of turn it into impact, and we're going to get the bat barrel not only behind the ball, but kind of working towards getting on plane with the pitch. So let me just scoot this up a bit so I can get at these things here. So the pitch plane, again, I've got it represented by this line at about 5 degrees coming down. Major League fastball. And you'll see the bat stays under that zone. And it's on plane with the pitch a little bit. So all good. Now, to further this point, I want to show you exactly the plane the bat's on. And what we want to do, again, without contorting ourselves, is get that bat as far behind the ball as possible. Get it on plane and working like level to, say, 8 or 9 degrees up in this space. Now, you'd have to be robotic and not even human to work it directly on this line, so I don't think that should be one of our goals. So again, bat comes down, slots, little transfer of weight forward, start to rotate, and you'll see that's on plane. Is it on plane long? Yeah, it is. This area here is what I'm going to call my effective hitting area, or the go zone. Meaning anywhere from here through this pitch in this little transparent area, I'm going to hit a ball hard somewhere. Low line drive, high line drive, even up in the air a little bit, depending where I catch it on the barrel. But this is not only I believe, the most powerful way to go about it. It's also going to get you the most hits. I'm playing back here. I'm playing through the ball. And that's the goal. That's how we become adjustable to velocity and all the rest of the stuff. where we are not looking to just dump the barrel into the zone as early as possible and say, okay, look, great, now I can hit 100. Again, and I've pointed this out a number of times. From here, if your first move is to kind of rotate your bat barrel back towards the catcher, it creates this big first wheel kind of action or circle that's very steep. That means when you get your bat deep in the zone, so to speak, even back here, it's still pointing downwards because that circle goes on an arc, levels out, and that arc quickly changes to up and out of zone. You are not in the zone a long time. It's right there on video, guys. It's a very popular method today of quote unquote getting in the zone early. You're not in the zone if the bat's going down, right? And the reason this line where my bat is not where I start this kind of shaded area, because I'm not really, the bat's still kind of, to a certain extent, I mean, it's leveled off pretty good here, but it's still working down just a tick. That's not really useful unless you want to hit ground balls. But as we progress and rotate into the ball, now it's moving kind of level and then moving up. This is an effective approach to having the bat barrel in the zone a long time. You're covering a lot of area in that zone behind the ball, and your bat's not working down and then abruptly up. So that's kind of the general philosophy. So then the question becomes, well, how do I learn how to do this? How do I effectively, make this happen? The way I did it, and when I work with students, how I do it is we talk about the philosophy and the concept and letting the bat kind of, as you see here, kind of flatten behind us. And then what we want to do is just basically let the arms fall and rotate through impact, right? So I will eventually, when I feel like with a pitch that's in an ideal position, the player's starting to get there, or I feel comfortable that I'm really behind the ball and hitting it solid, we'll move the tee back. So as we go back to the beginning here and to the right, this tee's back, whatever, 6, 12 inches behind where I want it. So this is my test. If you look at the right, I slot the bat. And then another thing too here, guys, it doesn't matter where it is. You're going to see my hip angle, my shoulder angle, the arm across my chest, the bat flattening. Nothing changes. I don't have to fall backwards to hit the ball that's deep. In fact, let's look at my swing here on the right. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to go get it because that builds power. Okay? I'm simply going to just drop the bat behind the ball, and there you go. Look it all the way to the left. You'll see this bat barrel in a similar position, whether the ball's forward or whether it's rearward. At this point in the swing, and I think on the left here we're a little behind, but that barrel has worked behind the ball in case I'm late. In case I'm on time, doesn't matter. I'm in the same position. And if I am a tick late, or it's advantageous to hit the ball the other way for whatever reason, I'm there, right? Come into the ball, boom, there it goes off. We already looked at this swing in the middle. Let's look at the one on the left. Again, where I position it a foot in front of my foot of where I want it ideally. And again, same load. I use a little scap load type thing. Drive forward. At this point, I'm realizing, hey, I'm a little early. You're going to start to see just ever so slightly this lead arm reach out and disconnect. You'll see the left elbow start to scoot forward and extend. Well, this isn't real. I mean, I can go more forward than this and still hit it. I'll just extend more. But still rotating, still transferring weight forward, still doing all the core things I want to do. Now, the reason I don't set this tee behind me, and believe me, I can hit it if I put it back there all the way to the right, is I don't want to create habits or develop a technique where I can hit the ball if it's literally behind me. I'd have to contort myself. It's almost counterproductive. So when I see guys on the opposite side, I never see anybody working the ball back because they don't want to deal with it. And this first wheel stuff where the guy's, dumping the bat barrel back towards the catcher, the magic pivot point in this area, you know, he's going to hit it straight in the ground if he ever puts it back. It's useless. Now, I see a lot of guys practicing, though, on the left here with the tee way in front of them. You know, it is a game of timing, guys. You got to have good timing. You've got to be able to have some sort of level of athleticism wherein you can get to different pitches, but you have to be able to get it in a certain area that's acceptable. So I'm saying, hey, a foot in front of me, maybe a foot behind where I ideally want it. That's as far as I will typically go with it, unless I'm just trying to prove a point that I can hit the ball sideways. I can't hit a pitch back here effectively. Certainly not at game speed. But I can hit this ball if it gets a little bit up on me. I can hit this one. I can hit this, obviously. It's, right where I want it, and then certainly I can get to this. So I just sit there and I simply practice these three positions and work on swinging the bat the same exact way, trusting that if you look at the center, and we'll call this whatever, my ideal ball position, this is the move I want to make. This is the move I'm capable of making. I'd like to make a different move, to be honest, but as I said, I did turn 60 the other day. So anyway, this is the move I really practice. Then I just move the tee back. I'll look over to the right, and I'll just do that. I'm doing the same thing. But because I get here in the middle in a position where, really kind of back here, where that bat has flattened, it becomes pretty simple, guys. You just kind of rotate in there, and when you feel like you got to let the arms go, they go. You don't even have to think about it, right? All right, listen, I appreciate you stopping in. I hope it was helpful. Once again, Joe Colucci with thebaseballswing.com. Feel free, please, to like and subscribe. That would be great. If you want to drop a comment in, please do so. As I mentioned, I do have a website, thebaseballswing.com. You can go there, upload a video of your swing, and I'd be happy to take a look. Right now, there's no lesson packages. It's a flat $75 for a review. But I will send you back a video with a voiceover similar to this and say, hey, this is what I'm seeing. This is maybe what I'd like to see you do, etc. I do follow that up with a phone call where we get to answer questions and talk a little bit more about, hey, how do we move forward? So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me. Joe Colucci with thebaseballswing.com, signing off.